Hey guys, Dave and Len here. We just played 30 Years War Decisive Battles from what issue is this? Issue number 332 from Strategy and Tactics, January through February 2022. So this is a pretty recent game. The battle we did here was the Battle of Wittstock. Let me show you on the map here. This side right here. I played this first line. You said you played the Battle of, what was it, Lutter solo. The Battle of Wittstock, it looks like it would be fun for someone who's playing it solo and playing both sides, but however, we played it competitively, 2 players, and the Austrians are so outclassed, and the setup they have to do is in completely the wrong area, so essentially they're getting hit in the rear on the first turn. So if you're playing competitively and you're playing the Austrians, there's a 99% or maybe 95% chance you're going to lose, so you won't like a 2-player, but if you play it 1-player, I'm sure it'll be okay then. What do you think of the game overall?
Okay, this is a historical setup, and it's where it really happened. The imperialists thought the Swedes were going to come from the south, instead they came from the east, but in real life they saw them coming, so they were able to deploy part of the force to delay them and get everybody else to move over. So actually you're underplaying your ability, because I never got a chance to deploy my artillery because your units kept on getting in the way, and you did keep me back a far ways. Of course, the problem was you took a heavy loss to do this, and you eventually were demoralized.
And there's some rules in this that are set up just to make the Swedes win, basically. Like, the Austrians cannot move their artillery. However, the Swedes can move their artillery. They can move it right onto the battlefield. So why can they move their artillery, but I can't, and stuff? And
30 Years War, nobody can move their artillery. This is one of the few exceptions. And they had lighter, more mobile artillery.
What was I going to say? And then also the Austrians had a lot of small units, and the Swedish had a lot of bigger units. And the part where the Austrians set up, which is nearest to where the Swedes are going to come on the board, you have mostly cavalry, and they're coming on the board. Some of them, they have 11 and 13 strength units, and you have 2 strength units, so you know what's going to happen there when your 2 strength unit gets attacked by a 13 strength unit.
Well, you just got to delay them and then get your big guys in.
I didn't have many big guys. I had, what, 1 unit that was a 10 strength and a 2 or 3 with a 9 strength, and everything else was 5. So, I mean...
actually, you may not realize I only had about 4 infantry units. And
yeah, but they're huge.
Yeah, but if they're lost, there goes the morale. That would have been rough on me.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's actually in this one, if you have big units, when you lose them, your morale went down. Because I played Lutter, and the Danes, for some odd reason, won. And I figured out what it is that the imperialists attacked aggressively. And since they had big units, when they lost one, your morale shot down real fast. Because I think I had one turn in which I lost 40 morale points in one turn, and they end up being demoralized.
Yeah, and also,
and
speaking of demoralization, of course the Swedes start with a higher demoralization number than the Austrians, so the Austrians are more likely to become demoralized than the Swedish, too. I don't know, I hate to say this, but some of these games... It feels like when they play-tested them, it was all play-tested solo. It wasn't actually play-tested against another player. I don't know if that's true or not, but some of these magazine games I've played, I mean, are so lopsided, out of balance. I don't know, something's going wrong in the playtesting. Maybe they did play it against another player or something. I don't know. They need to do more playtesting on some of these magazine games or something. I personally prefer Paper Wars magazine, their games. Don't get me wrong, Strategy and Tactics and Modern War have had some good games, but there's been a lot of stinkers, too, and a lot that needed more playtesting. That's why I prefer Paper Wars.
Well, I bet if they playtested solo, they didn't put the commander-in-chief of the Imperialists on the front lines to only lose them on the second turn.
What commander-in-chief of the...
Your commander-in-chief.
What does he matter? He adds 1. I mean, what does it matter that he's dead?
You lose 10 morale points.
Right, but
That's practically 10% of
you're completely not paying attention to what happened here. I had to set up an entire wing on the part of the battlefield where you were entering, where no matter what, on the first turn, you would hit them, and I had to set up 3 leaders there, so...
Actually, the one big question I have is, can the infantry really attack the cavalry? Because a lot of games in the horse and musket period, the infantry can retreat backwards, like 1 hex. And this one, I got a question. Can the cavalry retreat from the pike blocks or not? And a disrupted one, I say, or if you can't move away, because I'm not sure how many times infantry attack cavalry. Because I'm presuming once the pointy things get close, the guys on the horse start moving backwards.
Gotcha. All right, do I recommend it? No, I do not recommend the game unless you're only going to play it solo. If you're one of these people, you don't have an opponent, and you're going to play it solo, you might like it. But if you're playing against someone else, this is a stinker. What's your opinion?
If you like the 30 Years' War, you'll like these two. 'Cause these are like 2 obscure battles from that period, but they were important. This knocked the Danes out of the war. And this evened out the balance of power, so they came back to the negotiation table, and they were able to negotiate peace in a few years. So,
all right, guys, we'll have a new review for you next week. Have a good evening.